overpass another. I think Mirage, sure, it's a little bit more sort of duel heavy, especially in sort of the mid engagements if you're given them, but you also get a massive opportunity to have these lurkers and these extremities players really pan out and open up rounds for you.
That'll be interesting, but to be honest, I think Mirage might be the only map where I might even slightly edge it out towards HONORIS, especially with how they were playing. If SaMey can pull off even something close to that performance, and Taz has historically been very good at mid-round calling on Mirage, and I don't mean far back in history, I mean even in just the history of HONORIS itself. Taz has been fantastic at mid-round calling in Mirage in these disadvantaged situations, so for once, you know, where we saw the 2v5s going the way of forZe, courtesy of some great communication and the like, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it the other way around here, instead of, you know, just a straight-up ace, which seemed to be more their style on HONORIS.
Very slow work in the pistol here for forZe on the T side. Logo's the wrong way around, but names are in the right places. Sobol under pressure, and Flash is very well timed. They're not peeking though. They do not fall into this, and they don't continue pushing forward. Zorte's found his kill, and Sobol's going to go for one. Jerry's flank sussed out. Taz very privy to the idea of it, and Result trying to close the gap. Taz has already dealt with another side of the attack, and so he's eventually overwhelmed. 2-on-2, and the bomb dropped in the apartments. There's a flank established here for Lunatic. He maintains control.
Reiko's position is also excellent, especially because he's now taken out the only player who could actually have gone back to get the bomb. Result, position revealed, and now that he's given himself up, I don't think that Lunatic had even been spotted, but it won't even matter. Reiko just takes them all down.
Yeah, just a process of elimination. You know, Reiko's fighting out in the open like that. He pushed through market, saw nothing, so had to be suspicious of the flank, and that was where that bomb was situated. So a good response there from HONORIS, and really it's Taz that gives them enough room to recover that round on the pistol, because it looked like forZe was just going to overwhelm them on B. No, I think the surprise this series has been SaMey and his performance across both maps. Certainly more influential on CT Ancient, but was a force to be reckoned with on both T and CT Inferno. And he's somebody that's been, you know, since he joined this squad, been on a bit of a downtrend. Had some fantastic performances in the middle of last year, but in more recent months has struggled with consistency.
Okay, that's a lot of very dangerous duels to be taking, but Reiko seems to be coming out on top regardless. So, yeah, continues on, and shalfey's been disturbed, and, well, he pays back twice over for that disturbance. At the end of the day, will just be 2 casualties suffered by the CT side. They're very happy with that, considering that forZe did actually buy up on, you know, zorte and buy up a little bit more around those players with the P250s and the like, but even so, this is the real deal.
Third round bye, and they'll have better weapons than HONORIS themselves. Not a one back-to-back. These AKs really different. Zorte just on the deagle. They spot across, but only the one. Big boost here for Taz, and a small gap in that window smoke. Could have been some extra information garnered for SaMey, but he won't stick around to find out. They do concede middle as a position, just establishing Taz inside of ladder will be one of the probes of information. This is kind of best case scenario here for forZe. Haven't invested too much utility-wise to take this territory, and should be uncontested until maybe reiko.
Has to be careful that he doesn't just end up falling to the deagle of zorte. It's, of course, the only non-rifle weapon available on the forZe side. We've seen some great deagle shots as well. This series has missed out on nothing other than maybe some, you know, hygiene in the outside. Perhaps Taz, though, good for locating, but look at that triple entry. Simultaneous population of the kill feed, and it feels like that might just be the round given up in just a split second.
Yeah, unable to maintain information on any of these players as well, so an incredibly difficult retake to make work. Result low HP, but is that something that's confirmed on the HONORIS side? They do have a kit They have utility available as well, but I think they realized themselves that these post-plant positions could be all over the place here for forZe. They could even reset towards middle for an attack avenue through connector. So just not getting ahead of themselves. Nice call here from forZe, just burst onto the scene. Lunatic was isolated underneath the balcony. He capitalized on that fact. They threw a Molotov. He was busy fumbling his smoke out and couldn't get his gun back out in time. Not sure where the rest of the kills came from. I think CT, and then I think there would have been one jungle, or, you know, eliminating Taz. Like you said, it all happened in a flash.
Taz gets his shot to try and another illegal this time over. That's not the intended Molotov destination. Even so, forZe had to connector, and they will be able to get at least KRAD into a solid position from behind it, but he's expecting someone to actually be playing from connector itself. Instead, they've gone for a double site setup. KRAD plays out underpass in the meanwhile. There've been enough shenanigans from HONORIS that he wants to check out everything. We saw HONORIS going for boosts, going for early pushes, going for interesting plays on Inferno, and it seems like forZe are very wary of that idea once again. But are they going to be ready for reiko? Position in towards Firebox. He still hasn't revealed himself yet. Jerry not checking the angle front. zorte just takes him down.
Found the damage, spammed him up, and eventually finished off with the as well. Planter 1-for-1, but SaMey low HP, and shalfey covers the cross. Has to be an instant headshot here from SaMey, and he'll connect. A clutch man and a triple kill from the, I guess, refound star here on HONORIS. Doing his best work and getting all the bells and whistles to really pat himself on the back. Took a victory lap.
I mean, it felt like Inferno was entirely predicated off of him, if not for, you know, reiko also just coming in, but off of him starting off that 2v4, that 2v5 rather. And even here, Mirage, early impact being found, no op needed for it either. Just a rifle's all it takes, and he's still able to get it all done. forZe are getting themselves into decent positions, but they cannot capitalize in the post plants the same way as they'd like to.
Near miss. A close chance. But SaMey has been clutching with both hands. And there will be no sudden moves towards middle. A run boost out for zorte. No one's hanging around on the HONORIS side. Util investment at the start of this one, and forZe didn't come in with a lot. So this matters. You know, we look back at round number 3, they were able to establish mid control only using basically 2 smokes. This time they've had to continuously chain the window smoke, and SaMey's already put an angle for zorte to be a sitting duck. Already holding, the ult will find it, and Lunatic's found his kill through ramp as well. Taz, aggression, perfectly timed. Lining up perfectly here for HONORIS. Every single fight, there is a contingency plan, aside for that one. Lunatic gone, but so are the chances here for forZe. Oh my god, they don't know that he crossed? reiko gone. He knew where SaMey was as well. Suddenly Result made this a doable round. Taz up close and personal and down to 5 HP, but Sobol's unaccounted for. That almost falls to pieces for HONORIS.
And the amount of damage he's able to do to their economy would be so significant if not for the fact that forZe don't have a buy over here. There is a legitimate conversation to be had to just go for a force buy right now, but you're right, Michael. It looked like HONORIS had done everything perfectly, and Lunatic's demise is whatever, right? But the fact that the sound cue of him crossing over the stairs isn't heard is egregious. Yeah. If it's a slightly cleaner kill and connected, that could have been just a full round wiped out by one stupid auditory mistake.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Maybe a comm happening simultaneously as the jump. You know, that's always something that can happen to you, especially when, you know, they've got this sort of high-low setup. One's keeping eyes on default, the other on Palace, or I guess the sandwich cross. even to think that you get away with that. You know, Result couldn't quite believe his eyes. The fact the AWPer didn't move, he's like, wait, they have no idea? Really? So the chance that's, again, a near miss. Another 1v1 won by the HONORIS.
Indeed. Commonly known as the HONORIS, actually.
Sounds like a term you'd use for watches. How does it look on wrist?
True. Jerry, who's managed to leak into the B bomb site, but there's no way for him to get out of there. And with players already low, it feels like all of the economic damage done to the CSGO side of the previous round is just going to be completely negated here. It's nice, sure, obviously, but Jerry's dead, and I doubt zorte is going to be doing much better here either.
This was a weird call to make, it feels like.
Yeah.
You know, if they had just been on upgraded pistols, no armor, you know, not really a heavy investment, this wouldn't have looked so strange. But this was a force buy, and it felt like they were limit testing kind of all sides of the map simultaneously. Like there was no link up, no trades for any of those chances for fours, and so HONORIS just pick it apart.
And I have to start to wonder, is this the tilt setting in, right? Because there's only so far you can be pushed, Michael. You lose, and the fact that you get time to stew and to discuss it afterwards as well. You lose 2 ace rounds, 1 anti-eco that you lost out up against as well. Rather with, you know, 2 rifles saved before, and God knows how many other situations where, hey, it's just some sort of crazy op shot, this or that, etc. What's the game plan like? What's the morale like in the force camp? It can't be fantastic right now.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that. I thought the call in back to the context of them buying into it was quite odd, because, you know, having limit testing rounds like that can help you build or construct a way to crack in a future round, and it may still benefit fours, but they have to do it a little later. Back into rifles. We'll see if that limit testing has any real merit or not, whether fours can actually find a solution. Only the 1 round. Now is off the calamity, the triple that happened in a flash.
Oh, incredibly aggressive. Flashbang will be moving past him, but even so, his further aggression just means zorte can take him down. The advantage down for fours very early into things. Not very often that you've seen that actually happen. Flashbang missed out, so there's no opportunity to re-peek back down into middle, so KRAD's low HP cannot be depleted down to nothingness.
Awkward here, double smoking top con. As, I mean, 2 smokes bottom con as well. But that's because they're pushing through A. SaMey's AWP shot missed. They're pressuring B, and Sobol blinded. The volley will land at SaMey's feet, so he has to cast himself away. But Sobol unaccounted for, up close and personal. And Jerry not holding the angle either. I'm sure they deal with SaMey, but Sobol was the real threat. And finally, they're able to get control of this bomb site. B plant will succeed, and the double push through ramp will not.
And there you have it. Just HONORIS trying to make moves, they're trying to make plays, they're trying to go for information. This is one thing that they didn't need to do on Inferno necessarily, right? Because we criticize this on Ancient, right? They weren't always the best at finding information without losing players, or without just losing so much map control elsewhere that it feels like you've just forfeited the round almost immediately because you made the wrong read. That's a trend that didn't come into play on Inferno. We'll have to keep an eye out for it over here.
It's all about whether they can chain rounds together as well here for fours. I think HONORIS were expecting some kind of adaptation from this T side, and that's why they tried to be a little bit more assertive, but ends up bleeding them dry instead. You're not always going to come in with hits. You know, there's been a quite a few rounds here on the CT side already where it looks like the setups are great, the timings are kind of perfect. Can't all go your way.
Shalfey's going to have a great timing over here, potentially. Time is still a few seconds away, and that's great clear. Flashbang is fantastic as well, but it actually ends up blinding out their own teammates still. Jerry comes out on top over the duel. Lunatic's been taken down, and now these remaining two players in Connector are going to be funneling in through such an annoying choke point. They don't have any duels to take. Jerry as well, quickly going to be able to clear out Taz as the silent climb up will not be noticed by the veteran. SaMey will be moving forward. A quick wallbang to keep things in contention, but his HP is depleting, dwindling. Even so, he is still fighting back and re-peeks out over far too forward. Sobol's last known position was back in CT spawn, so this is to deny the plant. Even so, Resalt will just be the captain of the refrag right now.
Yeah, Sobol did the most there, tried to reposition and catch them off guard, and he succeeded, but Result's quick trading, both on the con player and onto Sobol. I mean, SaMey, if he took a little bit extra time, yeah, maybe they could actually just play that advantage, play the 2-on-2, because they needed to get that bomb down. Ay, ay, ay. Close, but no cigar. forZe finally a clutch their way. Into this reinvestment, they might look a little bit and aggressive. Lunatic up close. Jerry finally able to deal with it. Reiko can get one, but there's the trade right back. The fact that Jerry survived on low HP is perfect for forZe. They just offer him up like a piece of meat and immediately take the A site instead. HONORIS are tapping out. They want nothing to do with this. This will be a fourth.
Good recovery coming out from forZe over here. HONORIS, obviously, will be reset after this as well if they lose even one rifle, so they would like to be able to continue to save even if they don't. Lost bonus isn't fantastic. 2400 in the next round coming into it will still be an awkward buy should you choose to go for something like it. Sobol could drop a farmer's. Taz can buy one for himself as well. And things getting a little bit dicey. forZe, the adjustments are coming through, so they won't be whitewashed at the very least.
Do they recommit to this? They can get more SMGs out. They can even have these players that saved drop from Asas.
Side against it.
Yeah. Looking for a future full buy.
Side shadow spotted out, but he's not able to adjust in time. SaMey taken down, and Jerry's proceeding forward, but right into his death. KRAD as well to be meeting his demise. Sobol actually manages to keep a very defensive position and pair up for 3. They're regretting the lack of buying, perhaps, but with the AK recovered for reiko, maybe it doesn't matter. The Kevlar or lack thereof is the only thing that matters. Lunatic as well with the op picked up earlier. Only zorte alone. A 1-on-3 brought back to a 1-on-1. Op on the other side as well. zorte, the one is matter. It won't matter. forZe, the clutches are going their way. They're flowing their way.
I can't believe he's been able to make that work. 1 health. And if Lunatic had known, I doubt he keeps that AWP out, but wanted to finish off business. It comes back to bite them. HONORIS, that's the contingency that they were sort of angling around. They have another buy back in, but these rounds have turned quickly against them. The momentum now firmly in forZe's favor. They have to make some kind of an adaptation, and maybe this is it. 4 are very close in proximity to defend this A site, should it be the target.
Great shot. Very important to continue to find SaMey with how much impact he was able to get earlier on. these eliminations are what will make the big difference and force HONORIS into a play that they feel pressured to make, and Reiko is the one to step up to the platter. Taz, however, might be able to get something out of it as well, and in the meanwhile, Sobol has activated. Reiko's demise has been met, but Taz now knows where all of these players are, but spotted out finally. Flashes are good though. Sobol as well has struck through, and Taz, despite a moment of floundering, will save the day, and the 7th will be secured for HONORIS.
Yeah, a little bit scary there, considering Taz tried to play Trigger Discipline, but it all works out. Utility is right on the money, and HONORIS don't let that opportunity pass them by. Only 2 survivors, so still will be kept at least contained in terms of economy. It cannot run away here for HONORIS. We'll see forZe commit to a reinvestment. You would think, or at least how I would think. You know, we've seen sometimes, now we've seen an early attack over towards the A side. We've seen a standard mid control setup from forZe. We haven't really seen them test B outside of, you know, maybe these sort of quick, fast plays. I wouldn't be surprised if we have forZe almost angle for, you know, mid control into a B take. But, you know, try to call something, and instead it's just going to be fast A play. They're looking to try and capitalize. It's a very collected effort here from forZe right out the gate, and he's the target. That's going to put reiko and Lunatic under pressure.
Okay, smoke down early on, but he's already lost his life. reiko playing from up above, and once again, so many angles not being checked. reiko needed to choose better target priority. Only good for the one. Looked like he could have lined up for multiple, though. Sobol does come in and three. Taz goes one better. forZe has been consistently pressuring through on stairs so many times. What is that entry from KRAD? Gap in the smoke is perfectly exploited now. Trying to use it as a one-way as well to face off versus the stairs ascent that's coming through his way from Taz and the company. SaMey trying to reposition backwards, making as much noise as he can as Taz silently inches through. He's just playing containment, but Taz instead will fall, and KRAD to chime right in next to him. The fast A play works out like a charm.
Yeah, perfect angle control as well there between shalfey and KRAD. Both had the other covered, and as soon as one took contact, the other was always going to swing. So really well communicated in that 2v2. Didn't overstep, no one feeling like they needed to take the initiative. They just simply hold the line, and HONORIS fall right into it.
I've got to say, I've been very unimpressed by what Lunatic's offered on the A anchor so far. There's been so many places where it feels like he is the first point of mistake. Even the previous round, you know, the smoke down, reiko's trying to cover him off, but they're not able to do so because he's playing from up above and he's trying to play for second contact rather than first. You have to be slightly cleaner in that regard. Not sure whose com that is, obviously, but even so, Sobol's unfortunately not quite found the success that he's been, rather, Lunatic not found. Was an A anchor player.
Oh, and this is of course not a round where any of that really matters.
Yeah.
Pistols. So Sobol getting his one, and it's nice, but SaMey cannot succeed in the same effort. In fact, he'll catch a headshot. Back to even footing, and forZe on this T side, considering the HONORIS start, have really collected themselves. Some key clutches, some key sort of equal numbers, 2v2s, 1v1s being won. And it has flipped this half back on its head. I will say that I think the overall CT setups have been good. And I agree with you, you know, Lunatic, when he's been put under the microscope or put under the magnifying glass of forZe and targeted, he has struggled to get the production that is, I think, necessary to allow an extra player to contribute. But these are kind of tough spots.
For sure.
And very methodically cleared by forZe. Some of them have been just nice shots from the forZe entries as well, but even on the more scrappy duels, it has been a labored endeavor from him. Last round of the half, we'll have to see who comes out with an edge moving into the second. Right now, forZe just feel like they cannot lose. There was one blip on the radar on this path to recovery. Where will the efforts be this time? Will they continue to target this A bomb site? Maybe that weakness is something they smell themselves.
Heavy connector presence is something that HONORIS has not had very often, and forZe might be looking to capitalize on that backstab as well. But when they do so, Taz just finds the backstab. He's been a consistent menace playing in from short. Gap in the smoke that he's hoping shalfey will try and trend to spot for information, but shalfey on the other side is hoping the same for Taz.
Well, KRAD's hoping to take some room over at B. He will risk his life for an opportunity back into this round. 40 seconds before he'll start to make his mark through his util over to his teammates that are regrouping with him. shalfey holding on to the ladder room will be the second prong of the attack, but they need KRAD to succeed and draw attention away.
Sobol taken down early on. That's going to make things so difficult for Taz. He needs to put up a defense and a sloppy spray. He runs out of bullets. Result given a chance and a lease in this round, but one that will be oh so very short. Result and Jerry doubling up as they move forward. reiko good for the one. Lunatic's giving up footsteps, and as Jerry tries to fade away, forZe will not be able to find the 8. HONORIS closes out the first half in an advantage and will do so in style. Some floundering, some mistakes, but even then, some great defenses. And we're going to have to see what they've got to offer us on the T side come second half.
You're in my heart till I'm weak and old. I carry you, you brighten my soul, making me glow. I carry you wherever I go. I can see your face in a crowd of millions. No one can take your place. The only one that can guide me through the maze. You're my favorite song on the radio. All of me, my spirit and halo. You're my comfort, my rhythm and blues. You're the headlines in the morning news. I carry you. I carry you wherever I go. You're in my heart till I'm weak and old. I carry you, you brighten my soul, making me glow.
Stay on your toes, because these teams certainly are. HONORIS may have taken the lead, but forZe are hoping to bring it right back off the back of some great performances of their own as well. The individuals are certainly teeing off, and we'll have to wait to see what they have to offer.
Very Jerry aggro, and oh my god, run boost, Sobol plucked right out of the air. It's Clay pigeon shooting, and the rest of the team right there to allow Jerry to retreat. They just can't collect on the same amount of kills that he succeeded in. SaMey, oh, a double just like that through A, and now they have access, but Jerry's sharp to the trigger. SaMey's just doing it all in this round, and so now the bomb can make its way up through Con. SaMey finally dealt with, but bomb cannot be planted safely. They're separated and low HP as well. Result trying to capitalize, close the gap. Reiko has to get off of it, and so just hit the shot instead. You want to get me off this plant, you take a one straight to the head.
Well, that just makes it both the pistol rounds won out in Mirage for HONORIS as well, considering how slim the margins were in the first half. I don't imagine that won't be important as we head forward. But yeah, there's some great shots being hit. Sobol and SaMey, good to see them coming back into things as well. They're going to be incredibly crucial players moving forward, and I hope that we can see more of Taz as well. Fantastic laying in from B short. So many multi-kill rounds from the man himself, and I can do the same on T-side as well.
Yeah, pretty selfless in his action on T-side Ancient, and I'd liken Mirage to an Ancient. Certainly more akin to it than Inferno. See him taking that room, taking that space, offering his life up for the This round, of course, he's just making sure that nobody pushes through A. So it's kind of a compromising position. Oh.
Well, you're to find Taz at the end of the day. That is an MP5 he has no interest in whatsoever.
He looked at it for a second and was like, yeah, not for me.
I will spit on your silencer if it's on an SMG. That's how I feel about the MP5.
Oof.
Lovely.
Yeah, both SMGs being whiffed out. I'm not even sure Jerry spotted all of Taz as well. I'm not sure if he sensed his presence.
They also don't have any information about how many players are on this A-bomb site, beyond the fact that there have been 2 different players who've gotten killed. So for all they know, they're walking into a stack.
Yeah, the smoke that was bottom side stairs didn't help them in the information gathering effort.
Reiko's moving forward, but Williams are coming back towards the A-bomb site. Early tag there as well. Zorte, Sobol's gone. He's going to keep on getting these tags through. Pistol round might have been won, but it feels like the force buy is basically stolen away. forZe, 5 seconds on the clock, have guaranteed that the bomb cannot be planted, and well, 2 SMG kills for Jerry, 2 AKs taken forward. As if that wasn't bad enough, you're losing at the round as well.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's exactly what forZe drew up coming into that round. Lose the pistol, sure, but you've got to be able to sustain off the force buy. No, to a certain degree, Taz gets timinged in Palace, but that's the thing with timing. You kind of open yourself up to those opportunities. He was bouncing between 2 angles instead of committing to one and then checking the other every so often. He never sat still, basically. A decision that may come back to haunt both him and the HONORIS side. Goes right back into the swing of things. Forced by in response. HONORIS trying to collect themselves through A.
There he lies in white. Smoke will be differentiating him from the rest of the side push that's coming forward. Reiko, great shot. Jerry's been taken down, and with that, the bomb can be planted. Reiko's got a gun as well. Don't forget that. And with 4 players with Kevlar, that can be passed around. This is such a difficult retake with the angles that they're adopting. They're forced to send KRAD back to CT so he can see whether he can suss out the inevitable flank that's going to be coming forward, but instead it ends up being a triple peak. Result and shalfey the only ones to find the kills, and the clock is ticking down. This bomb is ticking away. Reiko still with the AK. Don't forget, this man is an absolute barn burner for game, but right now he's just burned down completely. The P250 unable to connect through on a second shot. First bullet accuracy, yes. Second one, not quite so much, and if they'd bought just a little bit more time, that round would have slipped right out of the hands of forZe.
Yeah, and maybe as well, had they not, I think, committed as deep as they did through spawn. Once they got that first kill onto KRAD, you know, job accomplished. You cut off the rotate, you cut off this other avenue, this retake position for forZe, and instead they swung out so wide that suddenly there were 2 kills to collect, and forZe could use their better weaponry and the man advantage very well. critical that they had that kit on shalfey. If not for that, then they would have certainly been out of time.
Oh, Sobol, yes please.
And a bad flash.
Another one of those, if you don't mind. Just to deliver. Not quite up to the order, though.
Okay, I was about to comment. Somebody has to make sure that weapon is cycled away, and Results one step ahead. Means they don't have to hover inside those apartments. They could just simply concede that control, and there's no way that this round should get any worse. Yeah, that first flash sucked. Look at where it bloomed.
Yeah. That's never great. Well, at least they're making sure that the Molotov can't be picked up by the CD side, right? Yeah, $600. Lead regained from forZe.
Sink or swim time. You win the pistol, you're sort of anticipating you'll be able to get the follow-up at the very least, and maybe even a conversion round in there, you know, deal with the force buy, then the anti-eco. But that's not been the story coming into the second half. HONORIS now need to reassert themselves with the weapons they've invested in. No AWP for SaMey, but he's been just as good on the rifle so far this series. A little bit past him to find opener kills, clutch rounds. Has been kind of a jack of all trades.
Well, comes in from behind. Good for the first. KRAD is gone. shalfey now needs to cut off. The problem is there's a double peek coming over. One where the second is not even needed. Sobo, all alone, has found two entries, completely open up the mid side of the map, and now the major risk to the D side offense will be Jerry, who's pushed all the way through. Now, the question is, can they circumvent him and end up in A regardless? Jerry, if he's forced backwards, this could be an interesting round.
Yeah, Jerry has to hold if they want a chance in this one. Low ground peak and some damage, but that's not a frag. Zorte gets nothing for his action as well. Top con smoke faded, and SaMey will get dropped. That was one of the full HP players, and Results contributed all the while. Problem is, Zorte's gone, and so Results called to question and cannot answer. Reiko shuts him out of it. A tying round here for HONORIS. They keep that 5-on-3 advantage, and they use those extra men to finish off business.
Sobol had some nuts entries going in the middle. I thought he was going to die in the second duel because he was going for the first peek up benches rather than the quick double that you can try and set up through for.
Yeah. Nice little off-angle peek as well from the CT on short.
Everything was lined up perfectly.
But that's the A1S change in full effect as well. Old A1S kills him there. Wonder what the approach will be here from forZe. I'm expecting a little shift up. Zorte's going to spawn. Can peek through middle. Or can peek, I guess, through A, rather.
That was the call for them in Inferno when they got stuck. And Zorte going for some sort of aggression or the other.
Might be the solution again.
Solution is something that might not be a problem yet, but they don't want to let it develop. HONORIS. Blue gun round? Sure. But CD side economy can be reset over here and be brought right back over the $1,400 loss bonus mark as well. They do not want to contend with no money at all. Reiko's demise has been met courtesy of some well-placed and well-timed aggression. And shalfey can just run and rotate all the way back to the B-bomb site immediately after.
Yeah, Zorte actually went for a deep palace peek, and they know Taz is typically responsible for the A side. Them finding Reiko means that they are suspicious that Taz is somewhat lingering around, but he had to make sure that they didn't also overplay through ramp. So he went back to check that, and now is regrouped to B with the rest of the squad. Little double man setup, and KRAD is the first responder if there is going to be any siege. Start to lean his direction over to B and spotted. Shalfey not checked for, and a double kill from shalfey. That's bomb drop. Taz out on the site, and he'll collect on 2 more kills. KRAD is here though, and he got here so fast, but Taz reads it. Another kill, a hat trick of frags, and that bomb's still yet to be recovered. They're not quick to jump on it though.
Taz is moving backwards. This is a perfect read to come forward for him. And there's he's on the other side. Taz is ready. The full ace. Seems like we've got 3 players now on HONORIS who've delivered, and Taz is. I mean, I can't believe he's just keeps on doing this. He's 20 and 12.
It's disgusting.
They lose out 2 players, Michael, on the entry pack.
It is disgusting. As soon as he's out on the bomb site by himself, max you're expecting what? But great target selection and great reads. Nobody could touch him. And that might just spark exactly what HONORIS needs. The old legend can do it. So can you. Full execute on A. Reiko's out and nobody spots him. It's only USPs here for forZe, but they're hoping for some level of a stack, one that doesn't pan out. Damage, and it's looking successful.
Good night as well early on, just to make sure that they can pick up a kill or 2 and get some damage in. USPs then feel pressure to start pushing out from the smokes to find information and see if they can take a quick duel before rotations backward come through. That's a perfectly played anti-eco from HONORIS.
Both teams have lost their fair share of man advantages throughout this series. Inferno was the worst defender. But HONORIS, whenever they need it, whenever it's close, they call for a hero. They're not specific. They don't ask for names. They just want somebody to respond to the call. Like you said, there are many that will. To win them the whole damn series. Lunatic out and finding shalfey first. That's a double kill on the B play, and forZe are tapping out.
What do you even do? Right? Like, what's the call? You're just losing out to some of these entry packs. And you'd never expect to say that about HONORIS. This is not a team renowned for its firepower.
No. They have seen a bit of an uptick, a bit of an upswing. They're getting chances where sometimes they wouldn't even, make it to qualifying brackets. You run something similar a year ago. We had an ESL Challenger Melbourne. You see HONORIS in the bracket, you think, they're just in too deep a field of teams. There's no way. You see them against forZe, you think forZe would just win it. And that's been kind of a story for them through many an iteration of this roster. That's why people are excited about Polish CS coming back on the map. 9, I think, are what people are kind of the most excited for.
Yeah.
But there are other teams that have had their chances. Permita, another one.
I mean, even some free agents out there. I think Shen's pretty solid. I'm waiting to see who exactly he gets picked up by as well.
Yeah. Shane.
Listen.
I'd always go with
no
Shane.
idea.
Sounds kind of like a name.
I think Shen sounds like a cool name too.
Reminds me too much of a Mandarin word. I think there's a Mandarin word called Shen, or like a Chinese last name.
I'd believe you.
Yeah. Well, it's just that's just my own conjecture there. But no, there are reasons to be excited about Polish CS. We had once upon a time, Ago. I think we're constantly on this precipice on, are they going to be able to make it happen? They'll make it to Pro League every so often, and then they'll kind of bomb out there, and then they'll get on that path again. And that was kind of the most people could be happy to see from the Polish scene.
Anonymous had their time as well.
Yeah, I think now Anonymous released their lineup. If I'm not mistaken.
I do believe so.
Yeah, they had their time in the sun.
Yeah.
Another team that people were quite excited for. So
And obviously, we're talking about teams that from the Polish scene that are quite excited, that people would have been quite excited for, and they're trying to get their time out of the sun. Let Us Cook, can't forget that.
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was thinking mainly orgs, but yeah, Let Us Cook is another one.
To be honest, I just remember that the funny name, and that's the only reason why I was excited about them. I won't lie, I was a little bit disappointed to see them deviate away from the fully Polish lineup. They are, of course, they have 3 Polish players. I believe that Blitz and Sound are Romanian, if I remember correctly. With that being said, the game will be right back underway, and forZe has been a line that's been exciting everyone for a long time, to the point where it feels like there's even been a bit of a deadened excitement, right? We know what their ceiling is, and everyone's question is always, can they break through it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it felt like with all the CIS shuffling that happened, it felt like everyone won. You know, everyone benefited from shuffling players around. And I think forZe is definitely in that conversation, but HONORIS may have just taken control of that game, this game with TaZ's lead. reiko close to the smoke and tried to catch shalfey backing away. Jerry taking room, and SaMey gets dropped. That's the bomb in the back lines, and that's the potentially recovered, but TaZ gets a handle on it. reiko as well. Oh, that's the kill at A. They can always just call it quits on the B play, and they might just.
Oh, right. Gone. Lunatic has been completely found out by KRAD. The B play has been called off, but the thing is that rotations backwards come through with reZorte. If reZorte can just find his first kill with reiko, maybe there's a chance, but no. Murder Hole lives up to the challenge. KRAD as well found out soBold to bring him down 14-10. HONORIS are 2 rounds away from making it to the upper bracket finals of the ESL Challenger Melbourne qualifiers for the European region.
Yeah, and a perfect call from HONORIS. You know, they get a lot of real estate through B. They have a player that can potentially siphon off potential rotates, and they knew they had players locked inside of the site, but they didn't actually have the space to move out. What do? They had this lurking play from reiko that's able to find so much room, called a clear A site, and so why not take the free option? Didn't overcommit, didn't overstay their welcome. forZe, there is no adaptation.
They look lost, honestly, at this stage. There's something that every time I see a double op setup coming out, in my head, it's always, these guys don't know what to do. This is, and it is. If you lose over here, you've basically given up on the game unless you manage to keep maybe 3 players alive, so then you've got another gun round in you. And then it would be getting real close. Speaking of real close, KRAD hoping to hug them from inside. The smoke is forced back by the flames. shalfey will connect on the first. Lunatic trying to move in dry versus a off will work nothing for him. shalfey's even got an aggressive in the meanwhile, so that one-way smoke won't be giving them much to work off of, and they are falling apart on this T side offense.
Not a kill found until SaMey responds, but that'll be an ult for ult, one that's still recovered. forZe still in it. It's not over till it's over. They might have had the wind knocked out of them. Doesn't mean that the win is out of reach. That was just one of the slower rounds though, and they tried to pull together. And good thing for forZe, a lot of the duels they had to take, they didn't have any utility. They didn't think about it because there was none on their belts. I think it actually helped them. Coming into this round, still maintaining that double ult setup. And this time Jerry a little bit more assertive close ramp.
Gone for this before with mixed results. Generally speaking, the best times when they're pushing in through ramp has been with a triple A-side setup. Jerry on a solitary push has been something that's been largely left to the strat book and not really to the server. Patience from HONORIS. No reason to make a move just quite yet. They're setting up for a late double lurk into mid potentially. Sobol likely to be the first player to reveal himself. Lunatic as well. With the Molotov ready to support, but no flashes. Lunatic, this will be very difficult. First kill found. Taz is traded. That's the kill from Jerry. That will not find the bomb though. And with smoke down at his feet, Jerry might not realize it, but there's a player right around the corner waiting for this very push. Reiko will punish him, loses most of his life as he does so, but the punishment is there nonetheless. Shalfey in the meanwhile finds Lunatic. These flashes will not blind him at all. He's found solace inside the smoke as he goes back to connector, and Sobol is moving back over. Might still have threaded the needle. The problem is he's now being boxed in from two different sides. Result. Not able to be here, but the peek forward, and now he'll know. Flashbang again sails right past, and zorte discovered as he's trying to plant the bomb, but even so, HONORIS just gets the frags.
Oh my goodness, that was so close. We were down to the last 5 seconds, and as soon as zorte got the bomb planter, had he been able to tuck himself away through CT, that round is unwinnable. HONORIS wouldn't have been able to get back onto that plant in time. But saved by trades. Saved by Sobol. Fantastic entry in through middle, and then was just a nuisance throughout the siege on that site. They wanted to get that plant down so much sooner, but with Sobol and understanding how many players had swarmed in on the rotate, they took their time with it, and it almost comes back to bite them. They called the time straight afterwards. That was a round where even though the opening kills had fallen in favor of HONORIS, they weren't able to maintain it. That was a round right within the fingertips of forZe. And that timeout just lets them stew in it.
Early damage on the reiko is not great for HONORIS. Maybe that's where if you can limit him a little bit more. He's been such an influential figure for the HONORIS side. forZe have been struggling with actually shutting him down, if not for just some sort of initial op shot or so, and obviously no ops here.
It's again quiet here for HONORIS. Probing, but getting no response from the forZe side. This will now finally be their play. Smoking to B, that fades, but they boost up shalfey just before it. And as it's gone, he will push the limits. Reiko, the fact that he was tagged to 26 will come back to bite him here if there's a damage exchange, but not even a chance. Clotheslines shalfey. And so Jerry now under a bit of pressure, trying to duck and dive himself away. Molly will not hit towards under Balk, so he can take some sanctuary there for now. But a follow-up Molly, now he goes to the high ground. He's doing his best to stay alive, but he's losing teammates all the meanwhile. Jerry finally unaccounted for him, lining up utility. A triple from Jerry in an instant. Suddenly it's back to 2-on-2. Bomb dropped at the feet, and Jerry knows it, but he can't get a single kill from any of his surrounding players. HONORIS will close the series 2-1, and a 16-11 scoreline on our final map. forZe just looked out of it.
Like forZe, like I said, Michael, what's the plan B on the CT side over there? Right, because we praise them so much on Ancient. Hey, these guys really know when to get aggressive. These guys really know how to make sure that they're not going to be punished, this and that. Mirage is very similar. Their results were not very similar. You saw it even in the very last round when they're getting aggressive, just get